gymnast for 13 years. I've always been competitive. I've always been trying to push myself. I started doing my first competition my freshman year in college, so I knew I wanted to do something competitive, and that was a great outlet for me. Started doing fitness first, and it allowed me to utilize my gymnastics background into the routines. And then when figure came about, which was right around the time that I started, I crossed over and ended up being more successful in the figure division, which is why I still do it today. Alright, so this is the first exercise of the shoulder workout. We're going to start with military press with the barbell. For the warm-up sets, I tend to go a little bit faster. Just want to get the blood flow to the area that I'm working. I usually go down to my chin. I don't really go a whole lot lower than that. And I keep my hands so that my middle finger is right at this line right here on the bar. Presses are one of the compound shoulder exercises, and it requires the most energy. So I do that right in the beginning when I'm freshest, at the very start of the workout. All right, this is the first working set. I'm gonna stick with about 10 to 12. I generally keep my repetitions no less than 10. My repetitions may go up to 20, just depends on the exercise I'm doing. I challenge myself, so I do lift as heavy as I can. So the last few repetitions I'm really struggling. The second set I'm going to add another 10 on each side, so bar's 45, and we've got 40, so we're doing 85 for the second set. Okay, so I only did 8, so I'm going to do a drop set. So what I'm going to do is take off the 10 on each side. I'm going to do as many as I can. And usually if you have a partner, they can help speed this drop set up a little bit so you don't have a whole lot of time in between to recover. But today, I'm on my own. I think if I did the same thing every single week when I went into the gym, I would be so bored. It wouldn't really motivate me to get to the gym. Depending on how I feel, I may add in a drop set or a superset, or so I may do 5 sets instead of 3, or it's constantly just changing it up. So my shoulders are on fire now. We only did 2 sets, so I'm going to do 1 more set. This last set, I'm going to go up another 5 on each side. Probably only get about 4, and that's all right. So I'm going to do another drop. So I'll probably just take off both 25s and just rep out the bar. On the larger muscle groups, shoulders, back, legs, I have a training partner. I have a few girlfriends that I train with back in Michigan. I think it's important to have a spotter if necessary when you're lifting heavier, just to make sure that you don't injure yourself. I usually train with girls, but I wouldn't be opposed to training with guys. It's gonna feel heavy. All right, first exercise in. After a compound exercise, I like to hit each area of the shoulder individually. So the medial delt creates that rounded shoulder when you're doing your front pose and figure, and I like to do the lateral raise on the cable because there's resistance on the way up and the way down, so it's constant tension on that area. Shoulders has definitely always been my favorite to train, and I think throughout the years they have gotten better and better. This year I probably have made the most improvements on my shoulders, and so I would say that they're probably one of my best body parts now. And what you do on one side, you must do on the other. So my left arm tends to be a little bit weaker than my right. I'm gonna go up one more for the next set. Probably won't get to 15, I'll probably get more to 10 to 12. But when I do these, I go a little bit slower, and it's really important to get that elbow up. You don't want your hand to look like this. I don't lift heavy to the point where my form is sacrificed. So I think if you're trying to lift too heavy on exercises where you're holding the weight out far from your body, that's a great way to get injured. So you're gonna have to go a little bit lighter when you do lateral raises or front raises where the weight is further away from your body. Ready? Last one. It's a good song. It's gonna be a good set. Well, I just got the new Rihanna CD, so that's been kind of on the replay, you know. It's really fast, upbeat, so I listen to that, kind of blare my radio, and so anything with a good beat. Okay, 5 more. Press pause, press pause. 4. Olympia shoulders right there, baby. I'm still kind of fresh toward the beginning of the training, so I'll throw in an upright row. I don't really go super heavy. I do these more slow and controlled. Again, this is kind of hitting more of the medial delt when I do upright row, so that's why I do it right after the lateral raise. I don't go really heavy on this because I don't want my traps to play a huge role. I really want to feel it in the shoulder. Elbows are going to go up higher than the shoulder. Keep the chest up, knees slightly bent. Well, most of the time I fit my workout in between clients. It keeps me focused, and it helps me not mess around between sets. So I think an hour for me is plenty enough time to get a good workout in. Okay, so I'm about to start the third set. I'm going to leave the weight the same. I want to make sure that my form stays good. My shoulders are pretty fatigued from everything else I did so far. And again, I don't want to go too heavy. I want to really just focus on the shoulder here and not let my trap take over. All right, so one of the last exercises we're going to do on this shoulder workout is for the rear deltoid. This is one of the most neglected body parts when training shoulders. It really gives that finishing touch to your back pose, especially for me when I compete in figure. So it's this muscle right back here, and this is going to be a cable reverse fly. This is an area on the body that a lot of men and women neglect because you can't see it. It's a weaker area for me, so sometimes I'll throw this at the very beginning of my shoulder workout, but today I'm doing it at the end, and I always do 2 exercises for rear delts. It's that area that kind of finishes off, and it gives a little bit more of a rounded effect to the shoulder in the rear pose. Okay, so when I do these, I want to make sure that my arms pretty much stay out at a T. You don't want to pull them back too much. Don't go heavy because, again, you're pulling it away from your body. And on the cable, it's a lot harder than doing it with a dumbbell. So you have to make sure both cables stay even. Make sure you stand right in the middle here, and I like to put one foot behind so that it helps with my balance. When it comes to shoulder training, I rest a little bit longer between sets, but I try not to rest longer than it takes me to do the actual set. So if it takes me 45 seconds to complete the set, it'll take me a 45-second break in between. On other body parts that I'm trying to just maintain, my rest will be a lot shorter. So I only got 10 reps that time, barely. Sometimes I'll stretch between sets, so if you put one arm in front of your body, kind of pull it across your chest, it'll stretch out the back of the shoulder. Okay, this last set, I'm gonna drop it. It's kind of embarrassing. The last plate. So the last exercise for this workout is another rear delt exercise. And we use the dumbbells for a rear delt fly. We use 15s. I like to lay on the bench with my knees up so that way I have more support. Again, bring your arms straight out to the side so that it's like a T. Okay, here we go. I would consider myself pretty extreme when it comes to the whole training and diet and just living the fitness lifestyle 100% of the time. I live it, I breathe it, I want to practice what I preach to my clients, so it's a lifestyle for me. Usually I try to rest as long as it takes me to do the set. Try not to go a whole lot longer than that. I'm going to stick with 15s. It's a pretty good weight for me. Sometimes I'll go up to 20, but it's a pretty good shoulder workout today, so I'm going to stick with 15s, really focus on my form again. I don't always train to failure. I think if you train to failure all the time, it's a great way to increase your risk for injury. But I do like the feeling of not being able to go anymore because I think it makes you stronger mentally and physically to do that sometimes. All right, last set. I'm Nicole Wilkins. I'm IFBB Pro Figure Olympia champion, and this was my shoulder workout. I do this twice a week, one day heavier, one day lighter. You can check me out on Body Space or on my website, NicoleWilkins.com. And for more content like this, check out bodybuilding.com.